what she really feels in your arms. The Stoic truth of presence, Stoic bloom. She says, "I'm fine," but when you hug her, her body whispers a completely different truth. You think a hug is enough, but what if she's reading your soul while you're reaching for her waist? If you've ever held a woman and still felt like she wasn't there, you're not alone. The hug wasn't empty. You just weren't fully present. Part 1, more than physical. A hug is supposed to be simple, right? Two bodies come together, arms wrap, maybe there's a sigh, a smile, a sense of closeness. But here's the truth, a hug is never just physical, especially not for her. To a woman, a hug can be a sanctuary or a battlefield. It can be where she breathes deeper or where she instinctively pulls back. Why? Because her nervous system isn't responding to your arms. It's responding to your energy. You see, her body isn't asking, "How tight is this hug?" It's asking, "Can I trust this man? Is he here or is he somewhere else? Is he holding me or trying to get something from me?" This is where most men miss it. They believe the mechanics of a hug are enough, but a woman feels whether your embrace is coming from presence or from performance. She notices when you're calm versus when you're craving, when you're centered versus when you're seeking. And that's why even a perfectly timed hug can leave her feeling more alone, if it's missing the truth of who you are behind it. As Marcus Aurelius said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. And in that moment when you hold her close, your thoughts are no longer private. They dye the air around her. She feels who you are, even if you never say a word. So if you want your embrace to land, not just on her shoulders but deep in her chest, then don't focus on the technique. Focus on the truth you are carrying when you walk into that space. If you've ever thought a hug was enough but sensed she drifted emotionally anyway, this is your wake-up hug. Tap like if you're ready to stop hugging with your arms and start embracing with your presence. Subscribe to Stoic Bloom for weekly reminders that a calm man is a rare medicine. And hey, share this with a friend who still thinks hugging harder equals loving deeper. Let him know. She already knows. Stoic Bloom, where every hug starts with stillness. Part 2, memory in her body. Long before she hugged you, her body had already memorized 1,000 touches. Not all of them gentle, not all of them welcome. Some too rushed, some too rough, some pretending to care while calculating what they could take. So when your arms reach around her, you're not starting from zero. You're walking into a room where old memories still echo. You're not just holding her, you're standing next to ghosts. Her shoulders may carry the imprint of hands that once forced rather than comforted. Her breath might quicken, not because she's excited, but because her nervous system is on guard. Even if she trusts you, her body might not trust men. And that distinction matters more than most realize. Her body remembers what her mind has tried to forget. The missed cues, the violated boundaries, the hugs that promised safety but delivered pressure. You see calm in her eyes, but her muscles may be waiting for signs that they'll need to flinch. This is where your awareness becomes everything, because the way you hold her today can either confirm her fears or help rewrite her story. If you approach her like a man entitled to touch her, her body will lock the doors. But if you hold her with the reverence of a man who knows he's entering sacred ground, her nervous system notices. Epictetus once wrote, "We are not disturbed by things, but by the views we take of them." And sometimes the body forms views long before the conscious mind can explain them. So when you hug her, ask yourself, am I listening or am I imposing? Because the hug she remembers won't be the one that lasted the longest. It will be the one that made her feel finally safe. Stoic Bloom. Her body remembers. Make sure your presence is worth remembering. Part 3, being held versus being used. There's a moment so subtle most men miss it, when a woman knows whether she's truly being held or simply being used. To you, it may feel like the same gesture. Your arms around her, your chest against hers, maybe even your breath sinking for a second. But to her nervous system, it's a test of your intention. Because being held is not about pressure. It's about presence. It's not about how long you stay in the hug. It's about why you're hugging at all. Are you holding her because you genuinely want to offer calm, or because you're hoping she'll open up, physically or emotionally, in return? Are you grounding her or grooming her for something? She can feel the answer before even you know it. Being held means she can relax. Being used means she must calculate. How long until he expects more? What will happen if I don't respond the way he hopes? Even if you say nothing, her body is trained to read behind the silence. And this is where real masculine presence is tested. When your embrace says, "You don't have to give anything back. I'm here." That's when the body softens. That's when the trauma loosens its grip. That's when her trust doesn't feel like a risk. It feels like relief. Seneca once wrote, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." So when you hug a woman, remember, that moment is not your opportunity to receive. It's your opportunity to protect. And strangely enough, when you stop trying to get something from the moment gives you everything back. Ever wonder why some hugs make her lean in and others make her lean away? If this part spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Like the video if you're ready to be a man who holds, not hunts. Subscribe to Stoic Bloom and turn your presence into a quiet revolution. And send this to that one friend who still thinks being held means getting lucky. Time for him to get lucky with some wisdom. Stoic Bloom, she knows your intent. Let it speak through your stillness. Part 4, the invisible pressure. She may not say it, she may even smile politely, but her body feels it. The subtle creeping tension that arrives before your arms ever do. That's the invisible pressure. The kind that doesn't shout but lingers. The kind that doesn't grab but expects. You might think you're being gentle, but if your presence carries an undercurrent of, I hope this leads somewhere, her body tightens. It's not the hug, it's the agenda behind it that unsettles her. Women have been socialized to accommodate, to make others feel good even at their own expense. So she may not pull away. She may lean in, but with muscles on alert. Not because you hurt her, but because the moment doesn't feel clean. Even silence can be loud when it carries an agenda. Stoicism teaches us that desire unchecked becomes disturbance. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." And what lies beyond your control? Her response. When you hug her, can you release the outcome? Can you offer stillness without needing a return? Because when she senses that you're okay with simply being there, not coaxing her reaction, that's when she might finally exhale. Her body knows when it's safe to soften, and safety begins where pressure ends. You don't need to shrink your desire, but you must discipline it. Let it become a quiet ember of warmth, not a force that consumes the air between you. Because sometimes the most oppressive force isn't weight, it's expectation unspoken. Stoic Bloom, remove your pressure and you reveal your presence. Part 5, energy speaks louder than words. You can say all the right things, whisper all the sweet reassurances, even quote poetry, promise the stars, hold her just long enough. But if your energy is off, she knows. Because long before she processes your words, her body has already felt your state. Before her mind interprets your intent, her nervous system has reacted to your vibe. You see, energy is the language beneath the language. It's the hum behind your voice. It's the silence between your actions. It's not what you say, it's the charge behind what you say. If you're holding tension, she'll feel it. If you're masking neediness with niceness, she'll feel that too. If your words are kind, but your thoughts are decluttered with a craving, her body tightens before her brain can catch up. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being aligned. When your energy is clean, grounded, still, without agenda, her body responds. Not because you're charming, but because you're safe. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. That color bleeds into the space between you. And in a hug, that space is everything." She's not just feeling your arms, she's feeling your inner weather, your breath, your nervous system, your level of peace or panic. And that's the secret most men overlook. A calm man doesn't just stand out, he soothes. Without speaking a word, he creates safety simply by being unchanging in a world full of emotional chaos. If you've ever wondered why she pulls away when everything you said was perfect, this might be your clue. Tap like if you're ready to align your words with your energy. Subscribe to Stoic Bloom for weekly reminders that peace is louder than pressure. And tag a brother in need because nothing says I care like helping him stop spooking women with panic in his pulse. Stoic Bloom. When your energy speaks truth, words become optional. Part 6. Her body knows first, before she forms a thought, before she has a chance to analyze, before she even knows your name. Her body already knows. It knows whether to open or brace, to soften or stay guarded, to trust or prepare for withdrawal. This isn't magic, it's biology. A woman's body is wired for survival before it's wired for romance. And survival doesn't consult logic, it reacts to sensation. She may not consciously recognize what feels off, but her pulse will skip, her breath will shift, her muscles will whisper, "Not yet." This means that no matter how composed your words are, if your energy is off, her body picks it up like a finely tuned antenna. She may smile, nod, even laugh at your jokes, but inside, something in her says, "Not safe yet." Stoic philosophy reminds us that perception is everything. As Epictetus wrote, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." This includes regulating your own nervous system, because no matter how noble your intentions, if you arrive in a state of inner chaos, her body reads it as danger. So when you hug her, don't ask, "Is this going well?" Ask, "What signal is my nervous system sending right now?" Because you can't fake presence. You either are calm or you aren't, and she'll know before you do. Your words might fool the mind, but the body, her body doesn't play politics. It tells the truth early, and it rarely needs to ask for permission. Stoic Bloom. Her instincts listen to your nervous system, not your words. Part 7. Her past meets your present. When you touch her, you're not just touching her. You're touching every man who came before you. The ones who honored her and the ones who didn't. The ones who stayed and the ones who broke her trust quietly, then left loudly. This might sound unfair. You may say, "But I'm not him," and you'd be right. But her nervous system doesn't know that yet, because the body doesn't operate on philosophy. It operates on memory. And when she feels your arms around her, her past doesn't disappear. It enters the room. You may be fully present, but her inner defenses are checking every signal. Does this feel like that time? Will he disappear like he did? Is this comfort or a prelude to pain? To you, it's just a hug. To her, it might be a moment of spiritual calculus, assessing how much she can surrender without losing herself. This is where your ego must step aside. Stoicism reminds us it is not events that disturb people, but their judgments concerning them. And in this case, her body is making judgments faster than reason can override. So what do? You stay. You breathe. You don't take her caution as rejection. You take it as wisdom earned. She's not doubting you. She's protecting the part of herself that once trusted too soon. And if your energy says, "I can hold space for that," then you give her nervous system something no man before you could. Time to feel safe again. If this part resonated with it is something you've felt but never quite understood, maybe now's the time to lean in, not just to her, but to truth. Like this video if you're ready to be the man who holds space instead of just holding expectation. Subscribe to Stoic Bloom for weekly doses of inner calm, outer strength, and practical stoicism without the beard-stroking lectures. And send this to a friend who still thinks getting over the ex means ignoring everything she ever felt. Stoic Bloom. When you honor her past, you earn your place in her present. Part 8. Presence is not performance. Stillness is not a show. Presence is not a skill you perform like a scene in a play. It is who you are when nothing needs to be said, done, or proven. Many men confuse attentiveness with technique. They think, if I nod at the right time, breathe slowly, and hold her just right, she'll feel safe. But presence isn't choreography. It's not the sum of conscious actions. It's the absence of inner noise. If you are rehearsing calm while secretly craving validation, if your silence is secretly begging for approval, she'll feel it, and the hug will become hollow. True presence isn't just being there physically, it's being there fully, without the echo of internal conflict. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." That retreat is what you bring into every hug, every breath, every shared silence. When your mind is scattered, she feels the fragmentation. When your focus is pure, she feels the containment. She doesn't need you to be perfect. She needs to know you're here, not in a fantasy, not in a future, not calculating what happens next, just here, without needing her reaction to justify your effort. Because when your presence becomes performance, she has to perform too. And intimacy turns into theater. Drop the act, lose the script, return to stillness. Because the most beautiful embrace is one where both people feel free to just be. Stoic Bloom. Stop performing peace. Start becoming it. Part 9. The weight of stillness. Stillness isn't always comforting. In fact, for many women, it's heavy. Not because silence is wrong, but because they've learned that after silence often comes impact. Think about it. How many moments in her life were quiet, right before someone raised their voice, right before someone pulled away, right before someone shut down emotionally or physically? So when you hold her in silence, you may think you're offering peace. But to her nervous system, stillness can feel like the edge of a cliff. This is where your inner state matters most. If your stillness is grounded, rooted, calm, she might slowly start to lean into it. But if your stillness is laced with resentment, impatience, or avoidance, it feels like a trap. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. In your stillness, be strict, not performative, but sincere, not frozen but anchored. Your body must not just be quiet, it must speak quiet. And when you do it right, that stillness becomes sacred. A silent room where she can hear herself, a pause between breaths where she feels safe without performing. Your calm becomes the container. Your steadiness becomes the signal. I am not here to invade. I am here to witness. I am not empty. I am full of nothing but presence. And that is heavier than any touch. If this spoke to you, if you've ever tried to be quiet and still but felt her pull away, then maybe it wasn't the silence. It was the static inside it. Like this video if you're done weaponizing silence and ready to wield serenity. Subscribe to Stoic Bloom because let's face it, the world needs fewer loud men and more solid ones. And share this with a friend who thinks being chill just means saying nothing. Help him learn how to be quiet without disappearing. Stoic Bloom. Let your stillness hold, not haunt. Part 10. Don't confuse proximity with presence. You can be inches away from her body and miles away from her experience. You can hold her hand but not hold her heart. You can touch her skin while your mind is touching your phone, your worries, or your ego. Proximity is not presence. Presence doesn't require closeness. It requires attention. You might think, but I'm here, aren't I? Yes, you're physically here. But is your attention here? Is your breath calm? Are your thoughts still? Or are you playing the part of the loving man while mentally rehearsing what comes next? She feels the disconnect. Even if she doesn't have the language for it, she knows. Because a woman doesn't relax into your body. She relaxes into your awareness. Presence is a form of discipline. It's the ability to be fully where your feet are, with no desire to manipulate, no fear to run, and no agenda to escape. As Seneca wrote, wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness. But kindness without presence is performance. And love without attention becomes an empty ritual. So don't confuse standing next to her with standing with her. Don't confuse touching her body with reaching her nervous system. When you're truly present, you don't just occupy space, you stabilize it. And in a world full of men who hover, drift, or perform, a grounded man becomes unforgettable. Stoic bloom, be where you are or nowhere at all. Part 11. Her hesitation is a door, not a wall. When she hesitates, don't panic, don't rush to prove, don't collapse inward or push outward, because her hesitation is not a rejection. It's an invitation. It's a door creaking open, not a wall slamming shut. She's not testing you to manipulate. She's checking you to see if you'll stay, to see if you'll flinch, to see if your calm is real or just a borrowed mask. Most men treat hesitation as a threat. They hear silence and start talking too much. They feel the pause and try to fill it. But presence doesn't rush. Presence respects rhythm. Her body may not move forward yet, but that doesn't mean she wants you to retreat. It means she wants to know, can you be trusted in the pause? Epictetus reminds us, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. In that moment of hesitation, your listening becomes your leadership. Your restraint becomes your wisdom, and your calm becomes her permission to trust again. So when she hesitates, don't force, don't perform, just breathe, and silently say with your energy, I'm not here to break you open, I'm here to hold the door until you choose to walk through. If you've ever mistaken her pause as punishment or pulled away too soon, this part was for you. Tap that like button if you're ready to stop knocking and start waiting with strength. Subscribe to Stoic Bloom for more content that turns confusion into clarity and masculinity into medicine. And share this with a brother who mistakes every maybe as a no. He might just need a new definition of patience. Stoic Bloom. True strength holds the door, not the handle. Part 12. Your hug reflects your truth. You can't fake a real hug, not for long, because sooner or later, your arms betray your heart. Your body language leaks what your words are trying to hide. She feels it. If you hug her from a place of need, she feels the weight of your expectations. If you hug her from a place of control, she feels the tension disguised as tenderness. If you hug her to get something, she feels the silent transaction behind the touch. But if you hug her without agenda, if your arms are simply an extension of peace, not performance, she feels that too. A hug is not just physical contact. It is an emotional imprint. It leaves a residue of your essence even after you let go. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." And when you embrace her, your soul is speaking, without sound, without filter. If you carry resentment, she'll feel it. If you carry peace, she'll melt into it. This is why true presence demands integrity. You can't hug like a calm man while waging war inside. You can't offer safety while internally screaming to be seen. praised, or validated. So before you hold her, hold yourself, regulate your breath, clear your motives, return to stillness. Because the quality of your hug is the quality of your truth. When she feels safe in your truth, she will relax into your touch. Not because you performed well, but because you were real. Stoic bloom. The truest embrace begins with self-mastery. Closing message. A Stoic reflection on intimacy. You've made it here. That says something about you. You're not just chasing tactics. You're seeking truth. And truth, unlike charm, is not about how you look, but how you live. Every hug you give, every moment of silence you share isn't just about her body, it's about your integrity. In a world where men are told to conquer, seduce, and perform, you chose to understand, to pause, to feel. And that is the essence of Stoicism applied in the modern world. The ancient Stoics didn't preach detachment from emotion. They taught us how to remain calm within the fire, how to be immovable, not unfeeling, how to love not with fear, but with clarity. So if this video has helped you understand even one layer of what it means to truly hold someone, then I invite you to go one step further. Subscribe to Stoic Bloom, not just for another video, but to become part of a movement of men and women who crave presence over performance and truth over technique. Share this with someone whose touch might speak louder than their words ever could. Leave a comment, share your story, your stillness, your questions, and if nothing else, like this video as a quiet nod to the truth that lives in you, because the hug you give tomorrow begins with the clarity you seek today. Stoic Bloom, where presence becomes your power.